Chapter 2. Nice to meet you, Atami said, shaking hands with Shiro and Kevin. Heard about your fight this morning, you're quite the troublemakers. Yeah, I guess you could say that, Kevin said, shaking his hand. Good, I like it when you get along, Morian said. Yeah, for now, Darius said as he walked in with Zikiel. You guys, Morian said with a sour look on his face, not planning on changing that easily, I see, he said. Well, it doesn't matter, their strength is the real deal. You most probably can't even scratch them with your current skill level. They're great family level, you know. True, Zikiel uttered, walking over to Morian, but power doesn't make you right. The words of a child, Shiro whispered under his breath, but they heard him. Huh? Darius asked, boiling up. I said those words sound like the utterances of a child, Shiro said clearly and loudly, as he sat down on one of the front chairs of the briefing room. As Darius walked towards him, he puts his hand beneath his chin for comfort, but it is short-lived as Darius grabs his shirt. Are you saying that power is everything? You arrogant spoilt brat. I've heard of you, he said, enraged. Although being a prodigy, you're a drug addict who spends all his time drowning in his illusions of greater knowledge while demeaning our current reality without even the slightest regard for anyone else. Plus, you don't even try to contribute to Shigen. Your ancestors must feel disgraced to know you came from them. Shiro looked him in the eye, then at his squeezed shirt, then back at him. He raised his left hand and touched Darius on the forehead, and with that, sent him crashing into the front wall, which he hit badly and left a crack. He then walked over to the coughing Darius and said, that was a touch. It brought you to your knees, all your ideals, all your goals, past dreams. At this moment, it no longer matters. He then stepped closer and whispered, that's what power can do. Then turned around and walked back to his sit and placed his hands beneath his chin again and said, before that, all what you spoke of is worthless, and the room fell silent. Intense, yelled Kevin. Let's all try to move on and get along. Yes, get along, May echoed as she walked in with Dian. We have to. There's a job to do. Isn't that why this band was assembled in the first place, she said, looking at Morian. Morian clasped his hands. Yes. That's why I called you in today, he said. They all took their seats ready to listen to him. He put on the projection and began to brief them. Before I start, Dian will be joining the Demi Corps from today onward. She's the strongest on the force and at a class that matches that of those in this room right now, so it's only natural. A job finally worth your medal is here. You must have been tired of the policing around. Congratulations, he said with a smile directed at her, and she responded with one also. Now the rebels, misfits, rejects and so on, they are known by many names. As we know, our society is a harmonious utopia that came to be with the work of Ryu, the right hand of the king who breached peace between the humans and the dragons about a millennia ago, by increasing the status of humans and humbling the dragons, bringing about the one race that we know and love today. But not all dragons accepted the demotion. Contrary to what the press may make you believe, there is still resistance till date, and that is what this department was built for in the first place, but it's growing less effective, and their forces are starting to grow exponentially. Hence the need for the Demi Corps. You guys are our strike unit. With your help we plan to crush this problem once by finally doing what is necessary once and for all, and avoid any further conflict. I'll take this chance to formally introduce your new bosses. Darius, a man of honor and dignity. May scuffs a little at this, and Kevin noticed and looked at her and she at him. Then he nodded and looked away, but she kept on looking at him as Morian continued. And Zikiel, your vice captain, a honor student, meticulous tactician and my best pupil. They both stand up and walk to the front, shake hands with Morian as he took his seat with the others. Okay? Darius starts. The world following Ryu and Naga's plan moved most of the population from the rural to the urban areas, thereby eliminating poverty, and with shared and free knowledge, illiteracy as well over time. He switched the projection and continued. They now use the rest of the excess land for agriculture and planned mining, and with the result of Ryu's research were able to fully utilize the resources and greatly satisfy the majority of the population. This brought about an age of peace and stability. Time merged all cultural and moral values, with all intelligent creatures centered in one place. People were forced to understand one another and coexist, as defiance or fighting meant you had to go against them, and that was the same as suicide. "See, power," Shiro interrupted. Darius ignored him and continued, "Although this system may seem perfect at a glance, the truth is not everyone lives here with us in Shigen. The story told to kids about there being people that don't comply to the system is true. I don't need to tell you what would happen if the public finds out about this, but I will because I'm sure this dumb doesn't know," he said, looking at Shiro. "Oh me," Shiro said, separating his hand from his chin for a second. "Isn't it because people want what they don't have? Right now they are satisfied with what they have because they think that's all there is, but if someone shows them there is a way to live or be free other than what they know, then chaos. After all, curiosity is a type of lust and all creatures have lust," he said with a slight smirk. "Isn't that it, Mr. Smart? Smart? Darius chuckled back. "Is that the best you can do? Repetition?" "Sorry. I was playing at your level," Shiro responded. "Was that too hard?" Darius ignored him, as he had no comeback, while Kevin breathes a small sigh of relief as May finally stops looking at him. He was nervous that she had caught on to him. Dian noticed this and looked at Kevin with hatred. He felt it and turned to look at her. She's shocked by this and watches as his lips soundlessly make the words sorry. She remembered something similar. Basically, they've been ruining harvest and stealing lots from the farms for years, and to be honest it didn't matter till now. Their persistence finally paid off as we almost dropped below our average target this month," Darius said. "Zikiel will take over from here," he said, stepping aside. "The faction, simply put, are a group of miscreants, but they do have strength, especially since a phantom leader took over," Zikiel said, changing the projection with a wave of his hand. "We have no information on his location, looks or anything else, but as much as it pains me to say, his tactics are a work of art." He switched the projection again. "The best way to counter this would be to crush his compatriots and drag him out. After all, a king is nothing without his kingdom." Shiro scoffs at this. Zikiel ignored him, while Darius gave him a dirty look which he responded to with a smile. "Our first aim will be this one," he said, pointing at the image before them. "This is their closest hideout. It's one of their strongholds, and it's heavily guarded and filled to the brim with some of their strongest men. If we're able to crush this, it would greatly damage their morale, and take away the possibility and advantage of an attack on Shigen anytime soon, one that took them years to achieve," he said, smiling devilishly. "The plan is for us to attack all at once. Detailed plans are pointless at this point. For this team, there's no need for such a thing," he said cockily. "That's all," Darius said, getting up, "right?" he asked by raising an eyebrow at Zikiel, who nods in acknowledgement. "Okay, any questions?" Darius asks. "Are we going to be killing them?" May asked, raising her hand. Darius smiled and was about to answer when she added, "Zikiel." "It would depend on the situation, but anything that is necessary," Zikiel answered quickly out of reflex. Darius smiled at this. "Dismissed," he uttered, and starts to walk out of the average-sized briefing room. "I guess there'll be no more questions?" Zikiel asked. "No," echoed through the whole room, and he nodded and followed Darius. Morian was trying to shake Atami awake, as he had fallen asleep halfway in, but it wasn't going so well. There was a plant protecting him. Dian stood up and walked over to Kevin's table and looked him in the eye, then he smiled gently. She suddenly had a shocked expression on her face. Then she turned red, and with all her strength she busted out of the briefing room, leaving behind a huge gust of wind. Gladly they had just reopened this room, so there was no paper lying around. "Dian, wait!" May yelled as she chased her. "What was that?" Shiro asked Kevin. "I'm not sure," he said back. This worried Shiro a little bit. "Well, it doesn't matter. Let's go home. The attack is tomorrow, so I have to watch all those movies before sunrise," Shiro said, getting up. "Sure," Kevin said, getting up too, and heads for the door as Shiro stepped into the open portal that appeared right in front of him. Kevin stopped just before entering and said, "See you tomorrow," to Morian.